Kenya ranks 130 over 182 globally in Corruption Perception Index. By the end of the financial year, we learned that Kenya was losing 608 billion shillings annually. That's around 7.08 of our GDP. But wait, why can't Kenya beat corruption? The first case, it's back in the 1960s, barely 3 years after independence. The Minister of Cooperatives and Marketing, Paul Ngei, manipulates maize marketing board to create artificial shortages and smuggling. His wife's business, the Uhuru Millers, illegally acquired maize. A commission is set to investigate the shortage, and shady dealings and unpaid invoices for thousands of bags are found. He is found guilty but pardoned by the president. Today, we have a statue for the man. During Kenyatta regime, civil servants were allowed to operate personal businesses which entrenched corruption.
But the Kenyan society suffered greatly during President Daniel Arap Moi's 24-year rule.
Corruption was worse in Moi's era. Kenya was among the top 5 most corrupt nations in the world in 1998. There were scandals like the Turkwell George hydroelectric power scandal and the Goldenberg scandal. The 2004 Kroll and Associates reports showed that Moi had siphoned over 130 billion from the government to offshore accounts in over 30 countries. Ministers like Bigot were frequently mentioned in corrupt cases. Some cases like that of the Turkwell George hydroelectric power cost us over $400 million, which was like triple the price. Everything had been overpriced and it was producing less power, and the cost was quite high. How was all this going through? Okay, one of the things that facilitated this corruption during Moi's era was the institutional capture, that no one was fighting corruption. Even though sometimes they said they were talking about corruption, no one was really fighting corruption. Then there comes the Kibaki era.
When President Mwai Kibaki took over the reins of power in December 2002, his promise was to put a stop to corruption from being a way of life in Kenya.
Yeah, when Kibaki wins, there is hope.
As soon as Parliament reconvenes, bring the law, we should establish the Anti-Corruption Act and give that authority, the Anti-Corruption Authority, powers to prosecute whoever should be prosecuted.
Kibaki era promised a fight against corruption. Kibaki passed the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act of 2003 and the Public Officer Ethics Act in 2003. He created the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, KACC, and under him, Kenya was the first country in the world to sign and ratify the United Nations Conventions Against Corruption. He had judicial reforms, and Lingela report led to the resignation of 23 judges and 82 magistrates implicated on corruption. During Kibaki's time, that is where we see even a whole cabinet being fired, ministers being fired. Despite this, there was an Anglo-leasing scandal. Corruption has continued in both Uhuru's and Ruto's tenure.
Director of Public Prosecutions Nurdin Haji opened the kimwarer floodgates early morning.
Trade and Investment Cabinet Secretary was hard-pressed by the Senate to explain the approval of a government agency to import duty-free edible oil.
Have you seen her talk about corruption in the judiciary? She doesn't.
So many cases, so many scandals. Today, Kenya remains quite a corrupt nation.
As in Kenya, tumefanya corruption ikaini kama kupigwa kofi. It's so easy. Tumenormalize. There
is a corruption scandal in that building.
And the ministry at the moment, the Ministry of Interior Affairs, is the most corrupt, followed by the Ministry of Health and the National Treasury. The national average bribe today has fallen, as of today, has fallen to 4,878 from 11,625. But in some counties, the average resident bribe is 25,873. And the cost of doing business with the government is quite high. In June 2025, the EACC traced 22.9 billion illicit wealth, but only recovered around 3.4. Well, quite a number of Kenyans are ready to offer bribes if there's no other alternative today. And corruption in Kenya can't really be beaten through the judiciary. The main reason Kenyans cannot beat corruption is simply because we keep re-electing readers implicated in graft cases and hoping there will be change.